What is that? What is on Piper's head? Oh, God. I don't want to know.
Seems like a little bit of information was left out.
Okay, I need to go change.
That, but regardless, it's definitely.
I will be rooting against Solo while wearing my CG merch. Zolo, period. Would judges take into consideration another officer's death? No. No, they should not. Especially because Zolo had nothing to do with that. So, big things for this court case that we need to drive home. 1, GSR negative. 2, beyond a reasonable doubt. Everything that they are trying to accuse him of, he needs to be found beyond a reasonable doubt. They already know who the murderer is, so why is he not getting accomplice? Why is he getting the murder? The report says that, 13 times assault with a deadly or whatever it is. There are only 3 officers listed in the report as being injured. No projectiles. No GSR. If the glove does not fit, you must acquit.
He is. Also, you're looking pretty, I don't know.
I don't know how long he gets. I don't know how long he'll get. Shimmy.
Hey, Rosa.
Hey. I just woke up.
Okay, we are at courthouse right now,
Okay,
kind of
I'm
doing
here.
final prep. Oh, okay. But we are in the office on right side.
Oh, okay. I'll be
Right
there.
here.
Okay, coming in.
Hey, Rosa.
Hey.
So, a couple things we're discussing right now. One is they not put anything about the interrogation at all.
Nope,
So
never did.
therefore, they cannot bring it up. And if they do bring it up, we will immediately object and cite the fact that we cannot have that entered into evidence because there is an internal affairs issue involved with that interrogation,
Okay,
and they didn't
perfect.
submit it in time. Then, when it comes to Zolo, what he say, we think it very important for him not to go hostage.
Oh,
Because we
100%.
think- yeah, okay, so we need to tell him that, because the best thing for him to argue is that he was hired to do a job to drive the truck from point A to point B, and then that's when people were there waiting to shoot. Was not a murder attempt, was a heist attempt, which happened every day. And unfortunately, officer was lost life in line of duty, but that not make Shimmy's client a killer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we should put him on the stand at all. Are you trying to say we should?
No, Shimmy
Okay.
agrees.
Yeah,
we have
I
to
agree
paint
too.
that
Yeah.
picture,
Okay, perfect.
which would probably be best thing for Shimmy's closing statement.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were just talking about the Slim and Diego case too, where Slim was found not guilty for capital murder
On me.
on you.
Yeah, it was on her.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, is case law we can use because they saying that he would have been better to be accessory, but there's no accessory for capital murder, right?
Yeah.
There is.
There is accessory to capital
Yeah,
murder.
that's what he should be charged with right now. That's one of the biggest points I want to hammer is we know who the murderer is. He has been put away. He has pled guilty. Romano says in her statement she knows who the killer was and it was not Zolo.
Mhm.
Why is he being charged with murder and not accessory?
Right.
You know, when that charge is
in
available.
Which we would still say he is not even an accessory
Exactly.
because he was not complicit. Okay.
Mhm.
Then that's on you guys absolutely to hammer in during questioning. As I said, Shimmy has her opening, which Mood Slayer can confirm is going to be quite a banger.
Yeah, no, it's definitely quite interesting. She's calling it the 8 Mile defense.
Yeah.
Oh my
the
God.
email opening. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Shimmy
Should
going
I-
to hand here. Shimmy going to
Yeah,
hand out
give-
this document at the beginning, just so everyone can easily understand Shimmy. Where is it? Shimmy has too many statements right now.
I let Mr. K know to keep expectations low just in case.
Yeah, I talked to them too.
Okay.
Zola's been pretty dumb about all of this too, so we're prepared.
He said he's been going to school. He's been
he's been
doing
getting
some
arrested every day.
schoolwork. Oh God. Well, I mean, I gave
him being a criminal is not the issue. He's not a murderer.
Exactly.
Maybe a criminal, but he's not a murderer.
Exactly. Yep.
It's going to be intense. It's going to be a very emotional hearing. It's going to be a lot
Except
of
for maybe opening statement.
accusatory. Yeah, they're cop killer. I already hear them in the lobby screaming about cop killers. So
Oh yeah, no, I'm planning on making some people fucking cry. I ain't gonna go easy on them.
how do you feel about objections? I am this has always been my personal belief. I don't like to object just to be petty. I like
Same
to
here.
object when it matters because not everyone is perfect in the courtroom. I'm not going to hold semantics or tiny little things over them, but I will object if it's going to be detrimental to Zolo.
Yep,
Yeah,
same here.
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because I think a
Why
lot of
Shimmy
people get
doesn't try to
lost in-
motion for like
Oh, yeah.
dismissals ever. Because it's
Yeah.
boring.
And people get so lost in the objections. They think it's the way to win a case. It never is.
No.
Jimmy think they're good times to use it to trip up your
for sure.
counsel, but
Mhm.
like just everything they say, come up with a good objection is not.
Yeah. I like to have people have their their chance to like speak and talk and whatnot. And so like my strong suit is not with objections, but I like to put pressure on people when cross-examining.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got this.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we
I
do.
think, honestly, this case is going to speak for itself. The lack of evidence is what we really need to just hammer out. Don't bring attention to anything that doesn't need attention. No, I think we're all on the same page
Yeah.
about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
who
What are
Mood,
some
are
things
you
that
the one? Hold on, Mood. Are you the one who is ready to object when they bring up the interview with
Yeah, they bring
interrogation?
up the interview, I'll object
That
and
on
say,
you? Okay.
yeah. I'll object and I'll say, hey, listen, we have an internal investigation that's going on. It's a violation within our defendant's Eighth Amendment rights.
Yeah, and due to the fact that the police were unable to get us the information from that we are motioning to suppress that.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I think we good. Zolo should be here any
Yep.
minute now. Shimmy said show up 10 minutes early so
Yeah.
we can brief him.
I'll call him if
Yeah.
it's not. I also am
I
going
mean,
to... I've said this. I'm going to be taking a little bit more of a back seat because I want you guys to be able to shine. I've defended CG for so long that I want to see other people be able to do it.
gotcha.
So I'm going to be there, but this is your roller coaster, okay?
Okay.
Whenever like I'm doing my cross-examination and I'm done, you want to go up and do any cross-examination questions that you have, like feel free. Like absolutely feel free.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't say like you're done. Just come back to
Yeah.
chair. And
Yep.
if we are, if no one
Oh, yeah, no,
wants
I'm-
to go up,
yeah,
just
I
say
get
we're
that.
done.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go find Zolo.
All right. Let's do this, team.
I'd rather make sure we don't
Excuse
lose
me,
any more
excuse me.
officers today.
Fuck.
Oh, by the way, I need to
Yeah,
You don't
Shimmy
lose any
was
more
sorry.
officers today. What happened?
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Shimmy.
What happened? Everything
Unfortunately,
okay?
Wick was lost in line of duty today.
God,
Oh
Rosa
my God.
knows. Rosa now knows.
I just talked to him the other day.
Yeah, Shimmy talked to him earlier today.
Fuck. I am so sorry, you
How you
guys.
doing?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Hola, ¿cómo está, mami?
We're here. Are you coming?
Yeah, I'm about to pull
Also,
up. Let me just.
I just caught wind that another cop has died today, so this is gonna be really, really fucking intense.
Cops just dying out of woodworks now, getting motherfuckers life and shit.
So I'm saying you gotta stay quiet during this.
I ain't gonna say nothing, man.
Okay.
I got my release party after this, so
Hell
I'll
yeah.
be good.
We're in a good place. Shimmy cooked something
All
up.
right.
I'm excited for you to see.
All right, I'm pulling up right now.
All right, bye.
All right.
Go in, Sergey.
You're alright, brother.
You don't have to be.
Lawyer?
You don't
Yeah,
have to
you
be.
see, you're
calm
alright,
down.
man.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not on duty, but I came here to show my.
Hi, Teddy Bear. I hope you're doing well.
Hello.
Are you guys ready? This courtroom is so triggering for Rosa.
5s for 6s direct.
I'll be alright, I think. This will be interesting to say the least. A lot of
Hey,
moving parts
Rosa.
going on in this.
Hi.
Can I ask you just to verify when I introduce? Is it Levy?
Yeah.
His last name? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Is he good for tonight?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
talk
He's
to
gonna
him?
be here in just a
Okay,
second.
okay.
There they are. Found
There's
them too.
cops everywhere.
If you guys go, we got the little box for anybody that's a witness. Just go ahead and sit next to Romano and Pike.
There's a lot of cops.
They've taken up the whole road.
Make sure all your phones are off.
This is a little
girls.
excessive with the AKs. I get it, but also
Well, the
I don't.
ringer off at least. Contempt charges are real.
To do that job, and once your job was done, you started to run away and got shot.
Okay. But they're
That
gonna say
one-
why did I? They're gonna say why did I run up the ladder then? And they're gonna.
We're
say,
not putting you on the stand, so you don't have to.
Yeah, you are not getting on stand.
And they're gonna go for accessory. I know they are.
Right, which is fine, but then they still have to prove that the intent was a murder. The intent was not a murder. You were
Oh,
hired
yeah,
to do a
yeah,
job,
yeah.
and it was a heist that unfortunately an officer lost their life in the line of duty on. But that does not make you a premeditated murderer.
Exactly.
And do you need the pictures of the other spots that I found today, or?
Now it's too late to admit evidence, right?
Well, I mean, like the knowledge of the streets and whatnot. It's like it's firsthand knowledge. I mean, I've already submitted an entire satellite map of Los Santos too. So
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it will be up to you on if that needs to go into your line of questioning mood.
because what I'm going to be questioning is, what was the route that they took for the fucking bank truck, right? Where did it start? Where did it go? The routes they took, the roads they took. How long did it go for? And then also about how, like, around every fucking corner, you take 5 steps, there's at least 7 different locations you can post up on and have it be a tactical location.
Yeah. So
Yeah, if they
basically,
bring up that, yeah.
So basically, I just brought on a job as a hacker. That's it. I didn't have no gun, nothing.
Yeah, and then you had a gun planted on you, right?
Yeah.
Because you felt the guy go in your pocket.
It
And
doesn't
the
matter. He's
officer,
not
what's
getting
his
on the
name?
stand.
He even said
Right.
that. Yeah, he's the one that said that the guy went through my pockets.
And we're gonna be pushing that. When they tell the story about who went up the ladder first and like did all that shit, like we'll be able to get them on that.
We are very confident, Zolo, in I think again, leaning on the fact that this is a robbery gone wrong. What the worst thing they do? They charge you, say, okay, you are guilty of the robbery. They still owe you a fuck ton of money because we're getting most of those assaults, if not all of the assaults dropped. We are getting the murder charge dropped. So you already got served for the assault. Jimmy will get you paid today.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate y'all. All of
No
y'all.
problem.
We got you,
Also,
brother, man.
just so you are aware, Jimmy's opening statement will be unorthodox, but hopefully you will like it.
She's calling it the 8 Mile defense.
She
Okay,
cooked.
All right.
She did.
Cook. She cooked really fucking well.
Yeah. I ran into Izzy today, and she's like, "I can't wait to go to jail for life. You cop killer."
You know what? If she on the stand, we should bring that up.
Yeah.
Their constant abuse of our client on the streets.
The fact that I'm still pissed that they didn't give a flying fuck about my attempt to murder and let that case go, and now they're trying to ream Zolo for nothing.
Yeah.
When people admitted to trying to murder me and they didn't even know the case was happening.
Yeah, but I've been constantly, even busing today. Pulled us over for our said we parked across the street in the wrong street and told us to get out the car to search all of us.
Oh yeah, Woodcock put that fucking hate on my life, and he's still a cop.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild the world we're living in. Don't act innocent
It
if
is.
you have a murderer in your ranks right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is.
Well,
All right, let's go.
Get in there and do this.
All right.
Dream team. Let's go.
If murder is committed during a crime, anyone involved in the crime can be charged in said murder.
Oh,
Yes.
I can't wait to
Yes.
start tearing them apart.
I think he will get accomplice to murder. I don't think he'll be charged with the actual murder, but I do think he'll get accomplice.
Someone said good luck, Shimmy.
I heard. Shimmy understands trying to. Well, maybe Shimmy shouldn't lean over like that. Shimmy understands trying to protect us, but Shimmy always hates when there are just tons of guns in courtroom.
I said the
Make her
same.
feel very uneasy.
They're in the rafters with them. It's yeah.
I think Shimmy is going to file a motion at the very beginning that she understands proactivity, but I don't know.
This is so cursed.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody who has gathered here today. The state v levy will begin shortly. I'll come around, make sure that everyone is in attendance, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
CG's not here. That worries me.
Yep.
Yep, we're set, good to go.
Perfect. All right.
Actually, yeah. No, Shimmy is gonna file a motion for them to stop it because everyone getting searched at the door. There's
Yeah.
no need to have weapons drawn inside
Exactly.
courtroom.
It's just intimidation.
Yep.
How you feeling, so?
I'm feeling good. I'm confident, you know?
Good.
I'm innocent.
Good. That you are.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But
we have that kind of
we
relationship.
can't.
Also, yes, please take this time to
Yeah,
silence
but
all
she-
your cell phones. It can be a distraction.
Hello, Mr. K.
Damn, Mr. K got new clothes.
taking my spot. Okay, I'm gonna get in.
Yep. Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, please
not
rise
my fault
for the
for all
Honorable
office space.
Chief Justice Montgomery.
Sorry, I have a fat ass.
Sorry, you have a big head.
Hi, Barney. Love you.
Fuck you.
I just say hi to everyone up here, too.
You may be seated. Thanks everyone for being here this evening.
I forget it's
I'm
so
Chief
hard to hear in
Justice
here.
Bartos Montgomery. I'll be presiding over this here case, the state versus Mr. Zolo. To my right, I have my clerk, Aria London, taking the record and notes. To my left, you'll see that we have bailiff Gus McMillan.
Yeah, all right.
I want to remind everyone before we begin proceedings that interruptions from the audience.
Oh.
will
Man, what
be
the
met
hell are
with
you wearing?
Potential contempt of court charges. Anything that's distracting to counsel when they're at their benches
I mean, a little bit of
can be.
Yo, Mood.
can be
He needs
very
to speak up. I
upsetting
can't hear him,
and,
man.
disrupt
Yes,
the
ma'am.
trial.
Just
He's whispering
I
as
wanna
hell.
keep that
Speak
clean
for
and
yourself,
I
buddy.
just got. Oh.
Officers will be deputized to escort people out of the gallery if they're causing
just a minute.
disruptions.
Yeah, okay.
And
No disruptions,
at this
stuff
point,
like
that.
I'm going to be authorizing.
Why is he so low?
That's some gentlemen's right there.
Jesus, of course, chat.
Oh, God.
As the clerk has already informed you, please have your
Hey,
phones
there's room back
silenced.
here.
Hey, by the
I
way,
don't
sir.
mind.
By the way, can you yell, sir? Sorry, sir.
I am yelling. I'm sorry. I'm a little quiet.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, a little
Just
bit.
a little
Your Honor.
bit.
You gotta use your big boy voice.
Oh my god.
I am
Let's turn
trying
this
the
way.
best I can. I'm sorry.
So I can hear
Somebody give him a megaphone or something.
Artie.
I don't know.
I might
Still
not-
got it. He stole the stallion. You need a spot or something, man?
You need some Mucinex or something.
there
He
you
sounds congested.
I can get one.
Are you okay, Ronnie?
He needs to
Yo,
squeeze.
what up, babe? Yo, hey, come here for a sec.
All right. We'll get started here in a moment.
Take a fucking
Um,
coffee.
I
Sorry,
will
it's
be-
these dry ass Pokemon cookies. Bro, don't fucking yell. Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
then. We'll get started here in a second. Beginning with introductions. We'll start with the state and then move on to the defense.
Colt.
And then begin with any opening arguments. I don't see any pretrial motions. Is that correct, counselors?
Due to a situation currently in the courtroom, Shimi has a motion to provide based off of what is happening currently. So nothing pre-filed.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and do introductions then. We'll start with the state.
Yes, Your Honor. I am Starla. I'm Starla Knight. I'm state prosecutor for the district attorney's office.
Excuse me.
Do you have a second?
No, unfortunately, he's ill, so I will be the single chair in this instance.
Oh,
Man, I'm pretty sure
I-
I ran
Right
you
then,
over
for
one
the
time while you
defense.
were on a motorbike.
Tugs.
Your Honor, my name is Mood Slayer. I'm a public defender within the state of Los Santos.
Who are you representing today?
I am representing Mr. Zolo Levy.
Okay. I see you have co-counsel.
That is correct.
Second
My,
chair is Shimi Bot with Venture Law.
and I'm Rosa Garcia, public defender.
All right. Welcome. Thank you, everyone. Sounded like we had one motion, so we'll get that off the table.
Which I'm very uncomfortable being in your
Is that all
lap.
right?
Yes.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Sounds good.
Okay. Please make your motion.
Shimi would like to request that the LEO firearms not be displayed in intimidating counsel. People are being searched at the door, and there is no need for weapons to be pointed at people in the courtroom. Shimi would not like to see misfires, but we have a gallery of people where weapons do not need to be drawn in.
I would. Is there any objection from counsel for the state? I don't.
No, absolutely not. I think as long as everybody behaves and we're in a safe environment, there's no reason for brandishing.
Oh my God.
I would agree. So let's please not be pointing weapons at people.
We're sitting over here.
Something I will inform the bailiff of.
A motion was carried. Put your class 2 firearms.
You can have them. Just please don't point them at people.
They don't need to be out. It's intimidation.
I think what's more intimidating is if they're. Okay.
There's no reason for guns to be out.
Anything
None.
else
Unless
with
there's
that?
aggression. I agree with that.
No, just waiting for it to happen.
Your Honor, if we could just have a gentle reminder to the audience to keep their voices very low, especially if they're right behind me.
Yes. Please do not be speaking in a way that could disrupt counsel at their benches. They are focusing on trial.
There's a lot of people here.
Can we have the sheriff and the balcony put away? Oh,
There we go.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on.
One second, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh,
Welcome to the party, man.
Raining people here.
I'm absolutely ready, Your Honor. I'm sorry for that.
okay. Are we ready to proceed with opening arguments?
Yes.
The state is
Yes,
ready
Your
for
Honor.
opening statements.
Okay. The floor is yours, Miss Knight.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, may it please Your Honor, bailiffs, clerks, counselors, and ladies and gentlemen of the audience here today. The victim of the murder in this trial was a dear and personal friend, as well as trusted colleague of many of the officers here today. It is a great loss to them, as well as our state as a whole. His stalwart presence is now a void left in the wake of this senseless act of violence. Now, as for the defendant on trial here today for the murder of Officer Fred Taffy, as well as the harm visited upon at least 13 other officers, he has chosen to make his one of a violent nature. The defendant has accumulated at least 18 violent felonies. This is to date. He is a very clear danger and threat to society. He has shown no remorse for his actions, the consequences, and the people he has hurt along the way. Considering the sheer amount of assault with a deadly weapon charges he has pled guilty to,
Solo is
it
dumb.
is a
I'm
miracle
sorry.
that this is the first time anyone has died from his hand in such senseless and remorseless violence.
Well, they didn't die from his hand. They already
Now,
put away the murder.
let me tell you what the prosecution will be proving here today. The defendant was involved in felonious actions and crimes, a bank truck robbery that led into an ambush and shootout with police that left at least 13 officers injured, some having critical
Chat, so they
injuries.
say 13,
so
but the
severe
report only
that
says
it demanded time in the ICU.
3 only lists 3 people
And
that got
let
hurt.
us not overlook the absolute tragic death of Officer Fred Taffy. During this war zone in our streets, 5 individuals attempted to escape from authorities. They orchestrated a kill pocket for the officers of Los Santos. The
A kill
accused took
pocket.
part and blatantly fired upon officers with illegal guns from rooftops and strategic locations. You will hear testimony from some of the brave officers that managed to live through the ordeal and finally apprehended 2 of the individuals that had a part to play in the tragic and senseless death of Officer Fred Taffy.
Objection
and the
boring.
assault of at
Agatha,
least
my
13 other
fucking girl.
officers. We will start by talking to Deputy Betty Kotov, one of the first officers on the scene.
That's straight out of Rosa's book right there.
And his telling of the insane brutality that he was a witness to. Next, we will hear from Isabel Romano, a chief in the LSPD, who was a longtime officer Fred Taffy. Sadly, she ultimately watched as her partner and longtime friend was ruthlessly cut down with gunfire, shot and hit multiple times, falling in front of her very eyes. The injuries sustained then ultimately caused the death of Officer Fred Taffy. After Chief Isabel Romano's testimony of the events, we will hear from Officer Eric Pike, who was on scene and was harmed in the events
So that prosecution
of
listed
November
22
14th.
people for the witness list. 22,
Then we will
I
quickly
counted
talk
today.
to another officer,
Wild.
B-Sider, who will help share some insight into some of what the accused has been up to in the last few weeks since November 14th.
Yeah. They're not calling all of them, I don't
And then
think. but-
finally, we will hear from Dr. Alex Bishop, Chief of Surgery at St. Fiacre. He will have the burden to go over the autopsy reports for us as well. At the end of the state's case, it will be abundantly obvious that the defendant was involved in a felonious act that led to and was the cause and death of Officer Fred Taffy and is irrefutably culpable of his murder. The state is justified and has a duty to convict the accused of his murder and the 13 accounts of assault with a deadly weapon, the officers who and whose lives were placed in mortal peril late in the evening of November 14th. The accused acted without thinking and with selfish, horrific violence, and because of this, Officer Fred Taffy died. We aim to hold him accountable for causing these actions and the horrible death that is a loss to this community as a whole. Thank you, Your Honor, and ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Knight.
Shimmy's up.
Shimmy,
The
really
defense
about to change
prepared,
the
or would you
mood.
like to hold
Can't
your
wait,
opening
Shimmy.
until later?
No, Shimmy had very important opening statement to make. Prior to Shimmy's opening statement, Shimmy would like to share something with people that will help follow along with opening statement.
Demonstrative, if you will.
Yeah, here you go. Everyone can open this. Shimmy will give it to everyone here. This for everyone. This help you follow along with what Shimmy is about to say. Okay?
She wrote a song.
Your
Okay,
Honor, should
everyone.
this wait 1 second, Your Honor. Should this have been on our discovery, or is this?
Is just the transcript of Shimmy's opening statement for people.
All right.
Then yeah, I don't think it would need to be in discovery at
Oh.
that point. Go ahead.
Okay.
proceed.
We got a technical one.
Look, Shimmy understand that the state is upset, but Shimmy want people to know that we get it. So, the best way to put it, we know what you'll say. Say that Zolo violent, follow Mr. K. Try and paint him mean, try and make him look bad. Try and make him say shit up on the stand. But what you don't know is just what we do. What you trying to say? GSR untrue? That's a problem though. Not on us to prove no GSR on witness that shows this dude ain't the one with the gun who shot down Taffy. Said he gone, but on job sadly to show that you ain't got evidence or nothing. Capital murder had to prove something. Call the tape, you ain't got it at all. So the defense hangs this on the wall. You can say what you want straight to the court, but the ball's in ours, no need to retort. We open with your whole argument. Get fucked. Walked in and all I say, Zolo walk out and he gon' get paid. Everything we going to prove today will prove that Shimmy's client may have been involved in a heist, but had no idea of any type of murder. Taffy died on the line of duty, something that cops expect every day. Hope not for part of their life. Shimmy is sorry that Taffy died, but this is not the person to blame. Thank you.
Fucking mute your phone. Jesus Christ, not that hard.
Hey, Shimmy.
Damn Shimmy.
It was
Was
so
good?
fucking
Damn
good.
Shimmy.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm
That
a
was really
proponent of
good.
Free speech, but I'm still going to be sanctioning you $500 for the use of vulgarity in your opening statement as such.
Okay.
I'll be honest, it was worth
She
it.
said that ain't shit.
I
Worth
would-
it.
I would.
She said $500 ain't shit.
Never mind. I'll withhold any opinion. Are we ready to begin with? Sorry. What did you say? After. Are we prepared to move forward with witnesses and evidence?
The state is, Your Honor.
All right. Begin.
Yes, I'd like to call Betty Kotov to the stand, please.
Someone let him
Okay,
through,
time to get
please.
my notepad out and start writing
problem, Your
notes
Honor,
on
I'll
what
get
I'm
it.
gonna ask. On what I'm gonna ask.
Is he all right?
He's all right. He's
Slipped
okay.
on my titty. Apologies, Your Honor.
All right.
Pledge yourself to me.
Betty Kotov.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
He has so been sworn, Your Honor.
All right. You may take a seat.
Now, for the purpose of this questioning, I'd like to just officially enter into evidence the documents 5647, 5648. They were given to the defense and the courts in the process of discovery.
Here we go.
Any objections?
Nope.
Shimmy honestly wasn't listening.
Counsel?
Oh, no objections if they're listed in discovery.
No objections.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, can you state your name, occupation, and rank for the court, please?
Absolutely. I'm Betty Kotov. I'm a lieutenant with Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And about how long have you been on the force, Mr. Kotov?
I've been on the force since April, and I was one of the first 10 officers to join the BCSO when it formed.
No, thank you for your service. What was the origin of the call that started the events that transpired late in the evening on November 14th, specifically those that led to the death of Officer Fred Taffy?
There was a call about a bank truck being robbed that was followed by multiple shots fired calls over by the court center.
Okay. I mean, at this time, I'd also like to draw the court's attention to the dispatch report for the bank robbery.
Just go sit right here if you don't mind.
Okay, so can you give me a little information? What goes into a bank truck robbery? Can you kind of go outline the parts of what typically happens.
Well, we usually get some kind of tip about it being robbed. Officers respond with, we usually try to send at least 4 officers or 4 vehicles over there, and depending on the situation, we may be showing up as they are already fleeing the scene. Maybe they're still trying to access the back of the trunk. We occasionally get shot at by the security that tends to defend that truck, and occasionally the party that's trying to rob it may shoot at us as well.
Okay. And so how did you respond to the dispatch call?
Well, in that situation, I believe it was Chief Romano was the first officer to respond to that. Myself and Deputy Woodcock responded as a backup unit to that call, expecting some kind of confrontation with the individuals attempting to rob that truck.
Okay, that seems to me, a layperson, a lot of units. Why do we have that many units assigned to a bank truck robbery?
They're a pretty, big risk right there. It's a pretty important call for us, and again, it is a very dangerous call for us to show up to.
Okay. And what did you notice upon arriving to the scene?
When we got to the scene, there was 2 individuals in the bank truck. I believe there was no wheels on that bank truck, and no tires left. They were all popped, and they were driving down the court center, which is when we pulled up right next to the driver's side door.
Okay. Did you notice anything else about the truck or the individuals?
Yeah, the driver was wearing like a black puffy coat and had a very bright red mask on, kind of like a sock mask on his head.
Okay. Can we draw attention to, let me find the reference, please. States Exhibit 10, mask held in evidence. And can I have you look at that and say if that was the mask that the individual driving the truck was wearing? It should be in report, I think, the 5647, but I can provide you a picture of it if you'd like.
That's your mask? Hi, Mantis.
I'm not seeing the picture in the report.
Give me 1 second. I'll send it to your phone as well as the courts as well, so that we can make sure we're all looking at the same picture. Is that acceptable to all?
Yes, thank you.
Apologies, Your Honor. I'm used to projectors.
No, it's not Solo. This is the mask Solo was wearing. They took out of evidence.
Can you eat those any quieter?
And should I send it to you as well, Your Honor?
I haven't.
Okay. Were you able to see that, Mr. Kotov?
Yeah, that is the exact type of mask the individual had on.
Okay. Okay. To the best of your knowledge, how many officers were shot down during that interaction, that incident on November 14th?
I believe it was 13, excluding Fred Taffy.
Okay. And do you happen to have the list of the names of the officers that were downed or hurt during that shootout?
Yeah, we have it in the report.
Damn it, he pled guilty.
Do you want me to read them all out, or?
Yes, please.
All right, so we have myself, Isabella Romano, Larry Woodcock, Sergei Yuchenko, Tommy Charlevoix, Haka, Harper, Brooks, Pack, Hunter,
Pack,
Anderson, Fox, Wilkes, Taffy, Fox, Cassidy, Lane, and Shepard.
Okay.
See.
And just 1 second, I want to pull up one other investigation. If you could go to report 5647, I believe.
Okay.
Okay. 1 sec. If you could go down to where we have the ballista information there.
Okay.
Can you, for the match ballistas of serial number ending with 2086, could you tell me which individual on scene was found with that gun that would match those ballistas, those 2 bullet shell casings that were found on scene?
Yeah, those projectiles were. The gun was found on Mr. Zolo Levy.
Okay. And could you tell me who
We
is
can't see any of
lawfully
this.
registered to that firearm?
I believe that
We
is
thought
a
they didn't have
Geraldo Rain.
projectiles. Have some though.
Sorry, shake my legs a minute. All right. I have no other further questions for Mr. Kotab at this time.
All right. Defense, do you have questions for the witness?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
Go mood, go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Rosa really is here for support. I want to make this known. We're playing support role.
Sure, Kotov, how you doing today?
I've been a lot better, son. Been a lot better.
I've heard the news. I heard the news. I'm sorry for your loss. Chadwick was a fine individual. Now, Mr. Kotov, you said that you, in fact, arrived on scene to this this call for a truck, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Were you in pursuit of this truck?
Yeah, we were basically side by side with that truck from the moment they got down from the hill leading up to the court center.
Gotcha. Okay. And to your best knowledge, could you state for the court the exact routes that were taken during that chase, that pursuit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the entire thing, but I know we went down from, we would have been going southbound on Rockford, and we went down in towards Morningwood. And then at some point, the driver of the vehicle backed the truck in to that little, couple parking
But that
spaces
Chad died?
down
Yeah, Chadwick died
by-
today.
I don't know what you'd call it, but there's a little plaza over there across from like the Gold Cage area. It wasn't a very long pursuit.
You're saying it wasn't a very long pursuit, yet you can't quite remember the routes that you took in the
Objection, Your
pursuit?
Honor. Asked and answered.
Yeah, it seems that he's testified to that already.
All right, very well.
Move on.
Got it,
All right,
mood.
you said that this pursuit ended up in the some sort of parking area of a plaza?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Now, if you could, for the court, please, can you recount your time on scene from that point onward?
Yeah, as
Objection, Your Honor. This is calling for a bit of a narrative. This is his cross-examination.
Right. Do you have specific questions you would like to ask him based on what's already been established in direct examination, Mr. Slayer?
Yes, I do have exact questions as per the testimony that is given under the report 7202.
All right. I would implore you to ask those questions then, instead of asking for a narrative.
Very
I'm
well.
afraid Barty might not be on our side. Yeah, Piper knows.
Kotov, it says here that you, in fact, pushed up the ladder, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
and that you opened fire on an individual wearing a red mask. Is that correct?
That is correct.
What was that individual doing at that time as you were opening fire?
He was hiding behind some kind of air vent, and he was with another individual. The said individual with the red mask was
She's
like
gonna
he
object to
was
everything. Granted,
taking
I don't
care
blame
of
her.
a-
She's alone in
probably
this,
a
but
wound that
also
he had suffered from
we don't want to
the
play the objection game. We would rather get testimony
continuous
out that needs to get
gunfire
out and then try to move on. Objection, Your Honor.
And how was he taking care of that wound? Can you recall?
Objection, Your Honor. This calls for a lot of speculation on my client, and this is also a cross-examination.
Shimmy would argue that he's directly asking what Kotov witnessed in his statement.
He's asking to speculate on what he saw.
How do you speculate what you saw
I'm
in the
He's
night?
recounting his.
Continue.
Yeah.
Again, Kotov, if you would, please.
Calling for speculation
he
on direct
was,
testimony of what you've already stated in a
From what I could
report.
tell, probably applying like a tourniquet or something to a wound that he had received on top of that rooftop.
I see. And after you opened fire, that individual indeed fell?
Correct.
And then it says here that you were fired upon?
Yes, there were multiple individuals on that roof, and I cannot like say that I was hit by all four of them or whatever it was, three of them up there, but there was another individual up there on near the ladder.
They're
that I
really
was-
trying to
that I
fuck
came up.
him. They're going for. Let's add
I
this
see.
up. Let's add up what they're trying to put him in for.
And with you being up there on that roof, you having line of sight
325
on the individual that you shot within the red mask, can you please tell the
plus
court,
10
if you can,
plus
what else that you possibly have seen that transpired on that roof?
plus.
Yeah, objection, Your Honor. That's pretty broad.
I'm going to sustain that. Please be
Okay.
more specific, counselor.
Gotcha. Did you happen to see anybody
160
put their hands on the individual
by
wearing the red mask, the one that you
60.
shot?
I don't recall
10
seeing
years
anybody
at
doing
least.
that.
A bunch of money. Well, this alone.
You don't
if
recall.
they could pop him with that.
Asked and answered.
Jeez, slow down with the
I
objections.
think he's just repeating back the answer for his own sake. Or at least I hope so.
Yeah, I'm just
Understood.
doing that.
Any other questions, Mr. Slayer?
Yes, I do. Kotov, you were also brought in to help with processing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Objection, Your Honor. I didn't just cover processing at all within my questioning. I would question the scope of this.
It's within the report here from the testimony that Kotov has given.
That I'm going to overrule.
Okay.
And in
Answer
this,
the question.
okay,
Oh, yes.
he
Was
yeah,
brought
you-
down to the cells to help with the processing.
gotcha. And in this testimony that you give here within this report, you said that Zola was in fact GSR negative, correct?
That is correct.
It was GSR negative.
Gotcha. And you said that there was evidence that was found on scene, projectiles, casings.
Correct. Evidence was collected on the scene, and when it was ran at MRPD, it came back to the gun that was on Mr. Levy.
How many casings?
I believe this
Your
was
Honor.
established already
Yeah.
in the direct examination. And I believe it was, what, 2 casings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I
All
see.
in discovery.
Let's not revisit this. And
Okay, we'll try not to revisit that. Okay. And those are the only
I
cases
was
that you
ignoring
could
the
find?
AFK timer because you guys were telling me about it.
Your Honor, asked and answered again.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you.
Are
Mr.
we gonna
Slayer,
hear
move on.
any of this case? Are we gonna?
Gotcha.
She's trying to trip him up. It kind of working. He needs to
I
jump
know.
off soon. Shimmy actually has a few questions.
Okay.
Okay,
If you have
Ted.
questions, go ahead.
Okay.
I gotta
Shimmy
admit
not
that
like
it
to
was
send my
GSR
Shimmy
negative,
wants
but
to grade here.
I try not to drag it on.
How
Just
many
trying to get,
questions do
you know.
you, as defense, have?
3.
3?
So
Okay.
Shimmy has 3 more.
Does Miss Garcia have any more?
At this time, no, but depending on Shimmy, we'll see.
3 questions. Let's go.
Okay. Shimmy just has 3 very simple questions. In your statement, you state that
They're
multiple
limiting questions now
officers
from
were sent to
defense.
the ICU
It's not
for
gonna be good.
GSWs. Do you have their medical reports?
I don't have access to the medical reports. I'm not sure if they're on that report or not.
Okay, Shimmy can easily answer that they are not. So thank you. It also mentioned you said that
Oh, you're
you
good.
saw
I was just being annoying.
him, Shimmy's client, bandaging, patching up a wound up top. Did you witness him firing a weapon?
There were multiple individuals from that roof shooting weapons. I did see the red mask peeking over at multiple times.
But did you see him directly shooting?
Asked and
sir?
answered.
No, he did not answer. He beat around bush.
Overruled. Continue. Answer the question.
Good.
When I was up on top of the roof,
Good
I
catch.
do not recall if he shot at me.
Did he shoot, period?
Sure.
Did
that's
you
not the
see him
answer
with your
Shimmy
own
looking
2
for, but
eyeballs?
Shimmy will
Shoot.
take that. And final question would be: you state in your
I don't know why they're limiting
your
defense.
direct testimony here that let's see here, officers were able to provide statements proving that he was shooting at officers.
Shimmy's
Where are those
wrapping it
statements,
up
Rosa?
well.
It should be on the report from one of my fellow deputies.
Okay, thank you. No further for Shimmy.
Anything from Miss Garcia?
Not from me.
Okay.
Any redirect from counsel for the plaintiff?
No, Your Honor. I didn't see a need.
All right.
That's good wrapping
sir,
it
I'm
up.
going to remind you that you will
Yeah,
remain under
yeah.
oath.
They
Potentially
not
open
have
to
any
a
of that
recall
info. That's why Shimmy
to
bringing it up
that
now.
Occurring, but please do not speak to anyone else about your
Mood.
testimony until the conclusion of this
He,
court
in the
case.
in the interrogation room, he
All
said
right.
he
You
seen
may
the
step
guy
down.
move me. He literally lied on the oath. Can we get him for perjury?
I'd like
Not
just like
now.
to warn opposing counsel I can hear their
Is it
client, so
recorded?
maybe they might want to whisper.
I would advise that as well.
Yeah, I'm whispering. I don't. There's nothing else I can do.
Is the state ready for their next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to call to the stand Miss Chief Isabel Romano.
Okay, Romano.
Please approach.
This one's the one that says that she saw
yourself.
who
Tell
shot
the courtroom
Taffy,
and
and it's not Solo.
Chief, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
Perjury.
She is so sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, bailiff. You may take a seat. Your witness, counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your name, occupation, and rank for the court, please?
I need to speak up and
My name is Isabel Romano. I am the chief of LSPD.
And how long were you and Officer Fred Taffy partners?
We were partners for 8 months.
Okay. And do you happen to know how long Taffy was on the force himself?
He was on the force for a total of 8 months, 7, 8 months.
Okay, so basically, you guys always served together.
Correct.
Okay. Just real quick, and then I do beg the court's indulgence. For those of us that didn't know Fred Taffy, can you just share one thing with us that you would want us to know about him?
Relevance.
Sure.
But I don't. We're decided we're not going to object to the
He
emotional
had
questions that she's trying to
unwavering
paint
commitment
because we don't want to
to
look
the
like the
city
bad
and the
guys.
people that lived in it. And he always had a
They
dumb,
really trying to
stupid
go for
fucking smile on
heartstrings?
his face, pardon my French.
Yeah, that's exactly. Moon and I talked about this.
Thank you.
We don't want to object too heavy on these because we don't want to.
So let's get down to the
like
nitty gritty.
villains.
So, do you recall what was the origin of the call that started the events that transpired late into the evening of November 14th and led to the tragic loss of Officer Fred Taffy?
I was patrolling as usual with Sergeant Taffy when multiple 13A calls came across from a bank truck robbery scene, and we responded.
Okay. Did you respond instantly?
Yes.
Okay. And were there any calls for additionals?
Yeah, there were. Yeah, when a 13A goes off, everybody responds.
Okay. And was there anything unusual that maybe stood out to you at first once arriving?
Yeah, I'd say the setup of the entire scene was a little unusual for me.
Can you go into that a little bit more detail?
There were a bank truck parked in what looked like an obvious kill box.
Pardon me just a moment. I'm not very familiar with what would the kill box entail?
It was clearly staged for a shootout, an ambush.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you.
I want to ask, is that an expert opinion, or is that just some kind of verbiage that I'm not familiar with? Because if that's an expert term, you're going to need to qualify your witness.
I'm not entirely sure, Your Honor. I think it would be basic information for law enforcement officers to know. They are in this type of combat daily, unfortunately. So knowing, I would say, I would postulate that knowing when a dangerous position and they're going to have an extreme disadvantage would be something that they would learn, or sadly, natural selection.
I think we need to
Your
push
Honor,
Trigger.
police officers are in fact peacekeepers, not combat trained soldiers.
Good mood. Jesus Christ.
Is there any disagreement amongst counsel that Romano should be entered as an expert witness as chief of police?
I think her position, she has their lives and on her shoulders daily, and she makes those decisions and she does her research. That is why she is the chief of our police.
I think the real question would be: is killbox a term trained in the SOPs, or is this a locker room kind of conversation?
Can I stop right here when we mention SOPs?
I don't want to hear about SOPs, so we can
Exactly.
Well, okay, shimmy means with training. Is killbox a term trained to officers?
So let me ask the witness directly then. Chief Romano.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is the term killbox colloquial speak, or is that an expert term that you would use in a sort of training or procedural setting?
I think ambush would be more of the colloquial speak versus killbox. It was staged for an ambush.
It's a matter of opinion, though. It's a problem.
Okay. Miss Knight, would you like to enter your witness as an expert or not?
I think I would, Your Honor. I have
Is
full
there
faith in
any
her ability.
objection from the defense?
Should we object? Don't really think so. No objection.
No
Your Honor.
objections.
Okay, carry on. We'll proceed. I will take that as within the scope then. I know there was no objection, but I want to be clear for my own record.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
Go ahead.
So,
proceed.
okay, so as you just stated, there was, you noticed that there was a potential kill box or ambush location. So my next question would be, because I'm not an LEO of any kind, can you explain kind of what the characteristics of that scenario would entail?
Isn't that an objection? From the testimony, no?
It's essentially.
I think we're going to
well,
shut
I
this
guess I can just
down
walk you through
because
what
they're
I
going to
saw,
use this
and
as
that's
a
basically it, but,
contingency point.
Bank truck parked.
This is their premeditation
no,
argument.
Multiple buildings in the shape of square.
I mean, Shimmy has a few questions because
Multiple
prior
ladders and
they
rooftops
Code
surrounding
said
it.
it was common,
You know,
and now she's
one
saying it is
entrance, one
uncommon.
exit,
So
or
Shimmy is
two
going to
kind of thing.
specifically ask her about
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
But if
so
we
that's
find
what I
moment
saw.
to object, do it.
Multiple suspects on
Absolutely.
rooftops, the bank truck parked in the middle, etc.
And why would that be of important note to you?
I mean, it's dangerous. Obviously, it's something I see multiple times a day.
Okay. Did you happen to notice anything else unusual before we move on?
Objection calls for speculation.
I don't know what we're speculating on.
I would agree, overruled.
I'm going to start
Give me
getting really
answers
annoying with
questions,
these.
Go ahead.
Not off
It's
the
not
top
gonna
of my
s-
head, no.
It's not going to work.
Okay, so you arrived on the scene. You
But
noticed the kill spots.
she wants
What
to
was your
object. I'm going to
next,
object and try to
what
throw
did
her
you
off,
do
even if
next?
it's not going to stand. We'll get overruled. in all of it.
Sergeant Taffy and I found
she's asking
a
these
way
people
onto the
opinion
rooftops
questions.
Come here.
near the gas station.
It's her witness, right?
Multiple officers, including Sergeant Taffy, made their way up the ladder while I stayed at the bottom to watch their backs and provide cover.
And they've already kind of
Okay.
fucked up too.
Do you happen to recall who those
She's
officers
saying that
were?
it's
Off
not
the top of
a
your head.
common thing
It's
to
been
happen.
a couple weeks.
Otov said it's a very common thing. that happens. Robbery, bank
Officer John Fox
Mm-hmm.
and Gibson, I believe.
Shimmy's gonna go ahead
And of course,
or-
Taffy was.
Yes,
with her question.
absolutely.
Okay. So what happened right
Gotta
after they
ask them
started
if they
going
were
up the
shot
ladder?
down as well.
They got to
injuries
the
they
top of
went
the
through.
ladder.
Oh, that's right.
I
He said
immediately
they
heard
had injuries.
gunfire
Yeah,
from the
that's
top of the
what
roof.
their injuries were.
So you're hearing that gunfire, and your officers are up there. What is your first reaction?
I immediately take to the ladder and climb up for backup.
Okay, so what do you see when you're up there?
The moment I get. Sorry, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.